right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to everyone joining us here today and everyone online. We are so glad to have you here with us. I'm so glad to see so many new faces. I can't imagine why everyone needs to be in community today. I am Reverend Karen LeBlanc. I minister to this congregation as we minister to each other here. We are a people creating beloved community here at First Unitarian in New Bedford. We believe in practicing and promoting the UU values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity in our congregation, and that those values always spring from the love at the center that guides us all. We are people of purpose here in this church. We work to make sure that everyone feels valued and included in this meeting house, regardless of race, color, nationality, age, physical or mental abilities, gender identity, economic status, how you believe, or who you love. And if what you hear today resonates with you, we hope you'll consider becoming part of this way cool community of seekers and keepers of this long dream. First Unitarian in New Bedford recognizes that the land that we inhabit and enjoy sits on the unceded ancestral land of the Wampanoag. We give respect to the people of light, the people of the first light and their ancestors, and honor them here in this church. We've got some musical guests today. Odin and Torsten Fayen will be joining us. That's very exciting. Those are, of course, our music director's kids. If you are new and you want some more information, if you sign this card and put it in the offertory basket, that'll put you on the newsletter list. Coffee hour is after the service right through that door. We are live streaming, so please be aware of that. If you'll put your phones in worship mode, we're going to begin with our moment of movement first. So everybody, if you can, if you are able and willing to, please rise for just a moment. Now, usually we do a few centering breaths. Let's call them collective sighs this morning, okay? If you can, raise your arms above your head. Breathe in and breathe out. One more collective sigh. Come down with the cactus arms like this. Push that heart out where it needs to be. Put your hands on your heart. Give yourself some love. Send that love around the room and around the country where we need it. Oh, okay. Have a seat. Now we're going to light our chalice, Yasmin. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Good job. Our opening words this morning are from Reverend Angela Herrera. Don't leave your broken heart at the door. Bring it to the altar of life. Don't leave your anger behind. It has high standards, and the world needs vision. Bring them with you, and your joy and your passion. Bring your loving and your courage and your conviction. Bring your need for healing and bring your power to heal. There is work to do, and you have all that you need to do it right here in this room. Now, our opening hymn is number 20. Number 20, Be Thou My Vision. Which cool fan are we going to get for this one? Please rise if you're willing and able.
Be thou my vision, O God of my heart. Not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, God. Thou my soul's shelterer, thou my high tower. Raise thou me heavenward, O power of my power. Riches I heed not, nor world's empty praise. Thou my inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, first in my heart. Sovereign of heaven, my treasure thou art.
Take the time to greet one another this morning. There's lots of visitors here, so please say hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, if you guys will stay standing up, we're going to read our covenant together, and that's printed in your order of service. We might have to look on with each other if we run out of orders of service. We come together as a religious community, upholding freedom of conscience, right relationship, and the inherent worth of all people. We value our diversity and pledge to care for one another in the spirit of compassion, to speak and listen to each other with respect, and to promote justice and kindness in the world. All right, have a seat.
morning, everyone, again. Before we begin, and you're going to learn another hymn in sign language, because sometimes it's just good to move when you don't really know what's happening. I also want to give a shout out and just follow up from last Sunday. Remember Mission 22. Every day, 22 veterans commit suicide. We have got to do better for our people. So whatever it is you do during the holiday tomorrow, just remember just smiling or thanking or just doing something. So to all our veterans, we love you, and to all the families who have to deal away, home, or without. So we are now going to do Gathered Here. It is a hymn that's normally in our Singing the Living Tradition book, but it is printed in your order of service. So we'll do it 3 times, first with the movements, and then join in as you are able. And please rise if you can. Together, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and power, Spirit draw near. Thank you. Sunday school students, make sure you bring your jackets with you. The words we say be kind and true, and love we guide in all we do. May kindness sing within our heart, and peace be with us while we're apart.
All right, kids, we'll see you later. Hi, Lucy. Now is the time in our service where we share with each other our joys, our sorrows, our concerns. So if you have something you would like to share, please get up. If you need to scream, don't scream directly into the microphone. But you're welcome to come up. Please be advised, as I said, we are live streaming, so don't say anything to the world that you wouldn't want them to hear. Come on up, Ed.
Oh yeah, you want to do brutal awfulness right now, but instead I'm going to do a joy that's only a few weeks old but still residing in my heart. The marriage of my daughter Micah to one Rebecca Thayer. So now I have 2 daughters, and that still is keeping some of the awfulness that we are all going through kind of at bay for me. So it's definitely a joy.
We remember when she was born. Oh, that's awesome. Go on up, Tony Ann.
I got 2 things. One, today's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the second thing, you're probably noticing these glasses. I have to keep them on because I'm recovering, because the other day I just went through LASIK surgery.
Yay!
Yeah, so they shot the lasers in my eyes, and I will spare you the details, but I love being able to see just without glasses or contacts for the first time in decades, and I feel like brand new. I feel like my life's been just like totally brand new.
Good morning. As some of you may know, my oldest son is transgender, so in light of everything that's coming, I actually have a joy to share today, and that is he was just accepted into a program to assist him with his mental health. That looks like it will do a lot of good coming forward. Thank you.
Oh, that's terrific. Come on up, Sri.
Okay. So, last week, for the first time, I performed in this fall festival as part of Social Justice Choir in Bridgewater State University. That was like a big thing for me. And tomorrow, as part of this Veterans Day parade, we will be representing our church and marching in the parade, and everyone can join us.
All right, the social justice team's going to be marching, right?
Yes.
All right, terrific. And congratulations on your concert.
Thank you.
That's terrific. Eli, you coming up here?
Hello, church. It's been a while. A lot of things have happened. Physically, I'm okay. Cancer is, they can't detect it, so I'm in the clear for right now. But you know that crap always comes back. So, I know you've all talked. Can you hear okay? All right. I've been told not to speak too loudly. You know, I love the people in this church, even the pastor. It was very difficult for me, the election. And the reason it was the most difficult for me, besides the racism and the misogyny and how black women were so insulted and stepped on by the stuff that happened, was in my rage, I was alone. I was alone. My cat and I talked about it, but it wasn't, he basically said, well, you know, this doesn't affect, you know, cat power, so, you know, he didn't care. But I was enraged. And I started hearing all the crap on TikTok and the stuff on the television and the commentaries and the pundits and all the geniuses who knew everything that was right and wrong with the world. But what happened to me was my loneliness really got to me. And I realized again, as I have realized so many times as a black man, that anything can happen to me in this world, in this society. If they can treat someone like the vice president as they treated her, they can do that to anybody, black or brown. Anything, anything. And you come to realize that what we fought for in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, while we made some headway, we were just reminded in your face that you are nothing. You mean nothing. We can kill you, we can step on you, we can do anything we want to you. And we will always find allies to support us as we do this cruelty to you. I'm not going to get deeper than this because I know Karen has a sermon prepared for this today. And I support her in what she does. But what I want to tell you is that as a man of color, as a man who cares deeply for you. This was such a slap in the face to all of us. I can't find words to express my disdain. I don't know if there's a God. If there is one, I think there'd be a lot of conversations all of us would want to have. But for now, what I want to say to you is, white supremacy is real. White supremacy is real. It's not some intellectual abstraction. Tell 29 million white women to vote for this monster, and they did. 29 million white women voted for this man. Well, they all put you in jeopardy, and not just me. I will be coming back to church. I'll be trying to stay, but I'll be coming back. So I want you to know that I love you, and I care about you, and I care about the future. We have to fight. You can't sing our way out of this. We can't. We have to fight, and I mean we have to fight. Don't kid yourself. You know, singing Kumbaya is not going to cut it. We're going to have to fight. Now, you can fight any way you want. I'm 81 years old, so you know it's different than a 20-year-old. But you have to prepare to fight. And that can take on any way you want to do it, you know, organizing, coming to church, anything, whatever it takes. But we have to fight. This is our country. We're not going to give it up to a bunch of racist fascists. Will's children went down for Sunday school. We have to fight for them. Thank you for letting me talk. You all take care.
Hi, I'm Ron Mello. You know, I worked for many years for a bus company where we all used to gather in the driver's room, and I guess a few people would point out that one of my shortcomings is I'd walk into the room in the middle of a conversation, give my opinion, and probably know half of what people said and talk out of the other side. And I'm probably doing that because I kind of came in and I heard people voted for their pockets. They voted the short game, and I guess a lot of us, we look at the long game. We look at much further ahead than our present time. And also, I'd like to recommend, I don't know, I just want to suggest a book that I read some time ago called Hate, Inc. or Hate Incorporated, on how the news media kind of builds us up for this rage, and they do it on the left and they do it on the right. It's a good book that kind of puts you in perspective. And we've all gotten, sometimes if you're either watching Fox News, MSNBC, you get addicted to people get addicted to a certain rage. And it's like, tell a person, oh, the immigrants, this, that, the system isn't working for you, and kind of work up this hypeness, and they get you addicted to it, you know? And that's how a lot of people turn the way that they did. They had a choice, so we'll have to deal with it. That's one of the things that Karen always says is, democracy is not easy, you know, and this is the way it is. I'm glad that we all have each other. It's wonderful to come to the church, and I come in at the last minute, and they're out of schedule, so I kind of play the service by ear, you know? And I think that is a great thing that you run out of schedules, because it means there's a lot of people coming here. And I'm glad to have you all for that last minute when I kind of just wake up and say, oh, I think I want to make it to church, and I get in my car and coffee up. Thank you for listening to me, and I'm glad to have everybody here. Thank you.
All right, Ames, tell people your names, Ames.
Hi. Hello. My name's Ames. I don't do this, really. But I just wanted to say something about my day it was election day, and then it was the morning after election day. And I work on a boat, and I was on duty. And so it was my job in the evening to lower the flag, and then in the morning, it was my job to raise the flag. And I don't know, when I was raising it in the morning, I was kind of like, this is my flag, you know? And I didn't expect to have that feeling, because I don't usually have much of a patriotic feeling, and I certainly am not exactly thrilled at all. But I had that feeling, and I wrote something. Sorry, I'm not very good at speaking. I'm much better at writing right these days. But I was just thinking about the flag, and I was thinking about, I don't know, what symbols are and what they aren't, and I wrote, I'm not trying to deny it, to deny all the blood in the thing, all the blood the flag has justified, the crooked experiment, but there's blood in everything. We are born of blood. Blood is milk to us. The machine demands blood, wrote Aaron Bushnell before his own blood curdled in his uniform of flame. His flag, for a brief moment, tattered and immune to gravity. My machine, I mean my God, I mean my phone, demands blood, the blood of the Congo. There is blood now in the crotch of my boxers, and there is so very much blood in Coca-Cola. You shouldn't buy Coca-Cola, by the way. I have smelled the blood, the hard rain rings from the ever-rotting earth. I have swam, was born swimming, a salmon upstream through this river of pennies, of wishes, of heads and tails, and the taste in my mouth has always been blood. This blood is your blood, and this blood is my blood, and that is my patriotic position. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing with us, Ames. I lit 2 final candles, as is our practice here, one for all the joys and the sorrows we share. We have left unspoken today in our hearts, and one for everyone out there that has yet to find a supportive and loving community to share with. Now that's more smiles than I've seen in one place all week. And you know what? You don't know you need klezmer music until you hear it, and then you're like, that's exactly what I needed. Thank you. Now, our responsive reading is printed in your order of service. If you got in too late to grab one, please, you can follow along with someone else. This is from Adrienne Marie Brown. I will read the regular parts if you will read the bold type. Remember, you are water. Of course you leave salt trails. Of course you're crying. Flow. P.S. If there happens to be a multitude of griefs upon you, individual and collective, or fast and slow, or small and large, add equal parts of these considerations. Can cover more territory, that perhaps love can only be as large as grief demands, that grief is the growing up of the heart that bursts boundaries like an old skin or a finished life, that grief is gratitude, that water seeks scale, that even your tears seek the recognition of community. Indeed, let us enter now into the spirit of prayer and meditation. I thought of this poem as soon as I heard the results. As you can see, this is a very well-worn book of poetry and meditations here by Nancy Schaffer, one of my favorites. It's called Mending. How shall we mend you, sweet soul? What shall we use? And how is it in the first place you've come to be torn? Come sit, come tell me. We will find a way to mend you. I would offer you so much, sweet soul, this banana sliced in rounds of palest yellow atop hot cereal, or these raisins scattered through it if you'd rather. Would offer cellos in the background singing melodies Vivaldi heard and wrote for us to keep. Would hold out to you everything colored blue or lavender or light green. All of this I would offer you, sweet soul, all of it, or any piece of it might mend you. I would offer you, sweet soul, this chair by the window, this sunlight on the floor and the cat asleep in it. I would offer you my silence, my presence, all this love I have, and my sorrow you've become torn. How shall I mend you, sweet soul? With these, I think gently. We can begin. We will mend you with a rocking chair, some raisins, a cat, a field of lavender beginning. We will mend you with songs remembered entirely the first time they are heard. We will mend you with pieces of your own sweet self, sweet soul, with what you've taught from the very beginning. Amen. second reading is from the author Prentice Hemphill. Feeling is revolutionary, a disruption of the status quo. Though it feels personal and happens in our bodies, it doesn't need to be a solitary action. Feeling and connection bring us into the world and into relationship with one another. Some things seem too big to be felt alone because they are. They require the collective to hold space for big feeling, for it to move through and to remind us that we are not alone. It's not practical to imagine that we can feel the weight of historical trauma as one person. This is why we meet in the streets. As much as that protests and direct action are about putting strategic pressure on the opposition, they are often a gathering space of grief and pain because they are too big to feel alone. Protests don't get reported on this way, as an eruption of collective grief. On the news, they call them riots, and we begin the cycle of minimizing the feelings that bring people to the streets and ultimately miss the message. We need those spaces, and others too, where our grief can swell, where feeling for feeling's sake can reconstitute us, where our empathy for one another can build. A community, a society becomes one and remains one through shared feeling. And now, my friends, rise if you are willing and able and join me in singing hymn number 26. 26, Holy, Holy, Holy.
Holy, 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 author of creation, early in the morning our song rise to thee. Holy, 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 merciful and mighty, who was and is and evermore shall be. Holy, 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 through the darkness hides thee, hindered by our vanities, we have not eyes to see. Only thou art holy, there is none beside thee, perfect in power, in love and purity. Holy, 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 author of creation, all thy works shall praise thy name in earth and sky and sea. Holy, 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 merciful, grim, mighty, who was and is and evermore shall be.
Please be seated. Now is the time in our service where we ask you for your kind donations toward the many good works of this church. Deb, could we get you to be maybe the other person to take the collection with Charlie? We thank you for your generosity. All right, for those of you that are new visiting today, we do not usually have like these two kids here on a weekly basis, so don't get used to this. Although we are training them for the future when Randy retires. So my friends, as you might know, my flagrant optimism did not manage to win the election. When I said at the end of last week's sermon, when we vote, we win. That was right. People voted. And I'm just going to say it. Kamala Harris lost this election. And it broke my heart. This is hitting everyone pretty hard who was emotionally invested in turning a page on American politics after this election, who believed we were advanced enough to elect a woman of color to the highest office in the country, and who thought for sure that those who would be most affected by hateful policies would see the light. That did not happen, and it hurts. There's been a lot of exasperated tears, profound disappointment in what this says about our country, and fear, heavy, deep fear for what's to come. It's a lot. It's a lot. I feel these big feelings with you. Kind of feels like most people were willing to give up our democracy for the price of eggs. Freedom be damned. There are no magical minister words that I can say to make these big feelings go away for any of us. We have to face these feelings right now. They are valid, and they need to be recognized. And the best part of having beloved community is that we always hold space for each other when these big feelings come up, right? And this week we need each other to lean on. We're all processing this in different ways. So I'm just going to share some of my self-reflections and introspection from this week. The first thing I thought about was how hard disappointment hits the optimistic. And I had to separate in my mind optimism from hope, because they are different things. One can lose their optimism for a time and get through it, but if you lose hope, that is much harder to suffer. So as a minister and a disappointed optimist, I'm going to ask you to hold on to hope today, while we hold space for this collective anger and use it toward moving us forward in the future. Beyond the chaos we will likely see and the fear of what's to come, the most important thing in this moment is that our country was given a choice, and the choice we made told us something about ourselves that we did not want to believe. We cannot say, America, this is not who we are. It is. We have to admit it. And we need, as white folk, to sit with that a little bit. I think for a lot of optimistic, progressive white folk, it's a really hard pill to finally swallow. My friends of color, like Eli, some women of color especially, they just laugh at us getting to this disappointment party so late. We are boldly going where we used to be ashamed to say we have gone before, right? Those first few days were filled with a lot of rage-filled finger-pointing. Our feelings get so big that we are desperate to put them somewhere. When things go so wrong, we look around for someone to blame, for anyone to blame. Being able to blame someone somehow takes some of that weight off of the grief. And it's like we're hardwired as humans to react that way, I think. Men are to blame. Oh, white women, those Hispanics, those Arabs, Gen Z, the economy, immigrants. That's when our red flags should be starting to fly, because we know where that leads, my friends. We know where that leads. I went to get coffee at Cumbies on my way to work on Wednesday, and I looked at the guy that I always say hello to and we make conversation in the morning, and I thought, he's a conservative. He probably voted against everything I believe in. I am going to be aloof this morning. Those white guys getting out of that landscaping truck, well, they voted against me and the people I love, and they will be sorry when all their Hispanic workers are rounded up. And that lady over there wearing red today, does she not get it? Her daughters and granddaughters now have fewer rights than she did. I will give her some serious side-eye. Pulling up my sleeve so she can see my blue bracelet that's supposed to say I'm safe. And then I got into my car and I thought, oh my God, am I gonna live like that now? Randomly just throwing hate at strangers that I think might have voted against my candidate. Is that how we're gonna live? Because that would be exhausting and depressing, and I can't do it. I can't. I tried for like 5 minutes. It didn't work. Then later on in the evening, I took out some rage on my husband because he's a white guy. And I needed someone to blame. And he was being far too conciliatory. And it made me feel like he was against me because he's a white man, and I feel like sometimes they're all against me. And even if they're not, I felt that even if he didn't agree that most of them were, we are going to have issues right now. Right, that's what big feelings make us do, right? Like, all reason just leaves us. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be manipulated into further dividing us either. I will not comply, and I hope you don't either. What we have to rally behind, what we must rally behind in this moment, is fiercely protecting those who will be most affected by the policies of the next administration. Our immigrant neighbors, our LGBTQ folk and allies, the people of color that are our friends, our family, women of all races, beliefs, identities, the marginalized that have always been marginalized. And it's going to take a lot more than blue bracelets and virtue signaling. It's going to take a lot of work, like Eli said. He was damn right. At least we can still wear blue. For now, Ron, for now. So, okay, we're at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads in American history. It stinks right now. A lot of us feel despair. But what we don't know is how this is going to play out, right? So I feel like I have to look at this as one of those moments in history that we have to get through in order to become the society that we want to see in the future. And we, right now, are the people that will have to rise up and change it. That's us. That's our kids and our grandkids who will meet this moment and respond with the kind of dignity that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden showed this week. Dignity still counts, my friends. And in the long run, I have faith that in that big picture, dignity and grace will make a difference. I might not be as optimistic as I usually am, but I'm hopeful. And I want you to know that this community is with you, and we can and will lean on each other in these dark times. Inspiring and supporting each other and our community is a much more valuable place to put our energies than screaming at our husbands just because they're white guys. And we're going to do that here, in this space, in the days and the weeks and the years to come. We are not hopeless. We are not helpless. There are things we can do right now, and that first thing is to lead with love, even when we are so mad. I've been inspired this week by our administrator, Jessica. She has become a very valued friend to me, and she's an incredible boon to our church. And as I was deep into writing this sermon, I took a break and just blurted out all I was feeling to her. And I'm a Gen X minister, poet, revolutionary, so it was very wordy and heavy with sarcasm, and I followed it up with, I don't have ADHD, you have ADHD. Look, an octopus. Octopus emoji dancing. And Jess answered, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit because we throw a lot of F-bombs in the office. You don't know that. Jess answered, we are all living the same effing crap show. Why we do with the crap show is up to us. And I was like, what? You'd think what we do with the crap show is up to us, right? Yeah, and we do need to think about that next. And maybe it was a typo, I don't know. But it really made me stop and think for a second. Why we do what we do is what this actually all comes down to, right? And when any of us act out of rage and vengeance, it always hurts us more than the people we are raging against. Always. Why we're doing what we're doing right now is because we're angry and we're afraid. Why we fight is the first question we ask ourselves before facing what we must fight. It's a test of how we live our values and our principles. Just as in an election, my friends, we get to make a choice. Can you find the hope inside yourself to get back to leading with love? I hope so. Because there's going to be a lot of people who need our help and our protection. We have to be the safe place, the refuge, the sanctuary, the place where love still lives. We might have to find all different kinds of ways to support each other as we work through these big feelings. Being here today, really good start. Finding a friend who you can totally vent to is a must. All I could watch for the first 24 hours after the election was videos featuring capybaras riding on other animals, or animals riding on capybaras. Or little goats jumping all over the place. Meh. And babies laughing. People surprised with puppies and weeping with joy. Compilations of funny scenes from Parks and Recreation. I started rewatching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, okay? Go to your comfort place and mend for a little while. It's okay. Read some poetry, take a long walk, and crunch through the leaves like a kid. Go to the beach and scream into the ocean because the ocean can take it. Whatever you need to get yourself right so we can move forward, do it. Don't be ashamed. Go for it. So I instructed Jess to put some really cute animals into your order of service today. There's also there's a capybara in there, and it's got a QR code that will bring you to a video that's like a silly capybara song that'll get stuck in your head, but I guarantee it's going to make you smile. So there's one tool to have in your belt. Capybaras are the largest rodent and possibly the chillest creature in the world, and they get along with everyone. So just go ahead and take that home and smile about it. And what made me happiest this week was when Jess told me that there is a place in Mattapoisett called Pine Meadow Alpacas, and they have capybaras that you can pet. They have a kangaroo with a little joey in its pouch, and they have goat cuddling sessions. Goat cuddling sessions! Right? Come on. Didn't even just the thought of a goat cuddling session make you just a teensy bit happier right then? Yes. Imagine doing it in person. Yes. Oh, right? We're gonna fight. We're gonna protect our family and our friends and democracy, but first we're gonna go hug some goats. We're gonna pet some capybaras. Let's do this together, okay? I'm gonna call them and see if we can get an appointment this week to go and do this. Actually, let's do a congregational date and just go and be happy together for just like an afternoon. I can't solve the problems that we face today, but I am gonna call that farm and see if they can receive a group of Unitarians who need happiness. So sign up for coffee hour. I put up a sheet already. So we're gonna go pet some nice animals, and then let's get on with the revolution. All right? Go and recover this week, because next week it's game on, people. Game on. Amen. And now we are going to sing our final hymn, number 53, 5-3.
I walk thy unfrequented road with open eye one's toil, no trespasser am I, and yet I reap from every soil and from the boundless sky. I gather where I did not sow, and bind the mystic sheaf. The amber air, the rivers flow, the rustle of the leaf. A beauty springtime never knew haunts all the quiet ways, and sweeter shines the landscape through its veil of autumn haze. I face the hills, the streams, the wood, and feel with all akin. My heart expands their fortitude, and peace and joy flow in.
Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you, my church, the light that is you. So hold fast. We love you. Stay strong. Live long and prosper. Go in peace. Have a seat for the postlude. the Fayen family.